let's say that again. I am starting with last week's lecture notes, and we're going to build off of that. Before I do, I want to show something that was a student had a question, like was playing around with these node pointers and like got stuck, and it wasn't clear what was going on. So we're going to just take a look at the code real quick and show you how we tested it to figure out what's going wrong. Finding your fucking mistakes is really fucking hard, but there are things that you can do to help. So he's got a node pointer to head pointer. It's null. He makes it a new node AB. We first off, and when we did print string, it wasn't running. We made sure that it was printing. We said see out head pointers, get item. We tested that, and it was. So we knew it was in there. Tested this and made sure it worked. Then we went into the print string. So we come down to print string, accessor meth. We come down to print string. I start off doing a testing up here. And then this one's got its own test because it'll see out something. And I did testing 1 here before the while loop. I did a testing 2 within the while loop. And I did a testing 3 after the while loop. And this is what we got when we run it. It's going to testing 1, but it's not getting any further. Now, the student's not using Visual Studios. They're on a Mac, I think, and so doesn't have the news, the nice little report that we're getting right now. It like the student didn't know that this was the problem. We just saw it went to testing 1, but it didn't go further. So you come in here and you look at testing. Okay, so this is fine. It did that. It did testing 0. It did testing 1, which means it made it to here. It's not printing the while loop, anything in the while loop, and it's not doing anything after the while loop either, which means either the while loop's fucking something up or something fucked up after we started the print function, but after we got somewhere. And so like narrowing it down, I went through this. We went through it a couple times. This looked all fine and dandy. And then, of course, Visual Studios conveniently flags this. It says, hey, bro, dude, check this out. And I'm like, oh, look at that. If you're not on something that has like new, like it gives you the news, tells you what's wrong, you may not have recognized that only an assignment operator was used, not a comparison operator. But by doing testing 1, 2, and 3, I was able to help fucking narrow down where the problem is. Sometimes these functions you've got are really fucking long. And you're like, I know it went in there. I don't know where it stopped. So go in there and put in a bunch of things that aren't part of the program, just like prompts to the screen or little messages to the screen to let you know how far it gets into the code before it gets all buggy. That's just some error checking like help. All right. After fixing it, making it an assignment or a comparison operator rather than the assignment operator, we run it again and it prints out AB, which was what we wanted to do. So it worked, and that was all that was wrong. But if you're not working on something like Visual Studio or IDE that gives you that information, at least doing the run, the putting in the error messages or testing messages can help you narrow down where you're at. All right. Now on to today's part. I have uploaded last week's lecture notes, last Wednesday's lecture notes. And I was looking at this and I thought, like, looking at the labs, and I thought, you know what? We could probably do this together as a fun group activity. We've done, like, last node is tail node for us, or tail. We've done add node end, add node front, add node middle. We've done search. We haven't done any deletion. So let's take a look at figuring out how we're going to delete our stuff. So first off, let's go into our code and just run it again, remind ourselves what it's doing. Because it's been a few days. We had a search function in there. We were compiling a list. It's going alphabetically. We put numbers at the front. Then we printed it back, printed it forwards, printed it backwards, and the deallocation is deleting the nodes. Okay. So that might be a good spot to start. What did we do in the deallocation? Where is deallocation? The destructor method. So notice when we did our linked, our destructor method, it starts with a tilde. The way you go about doing is you got to delete the item or delete what's in the memory and then delete the pointer and set the pointer to a null because this just clears the memory. But the temp pointer still exists, so sets temp to null in case it's used again. And you got to delete the memory contents or delete the shit first. I'm going to run that again, see what our letters are so I can draw a little picture. We have 007. I'm just writing down what we have in memory right now. Okay. So we want to make some methods. All I did is commented on this, so this was already in our notes. We want to make some methods that do kind of that. So let's come up to the top and make some. Let's just start with the tail one. Getting rid of the end one should be the easiest one to do. Let's see, we need our linked list is here. We have accessor methods. And we need some, our utility methods will be, we'll have a delete node end. And I don't think we need to take anything in because we already know where the end is. And we shouldn't have to return anything either. So it should be a void and a void. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to go right below our destructor. So we can see our destructor if I can fucking find it. There it is. Okay, and what do we have access to here? I believe we have a head node and a tail node. So if we're deleting the end node, we're really deleting the tail. So like, I'm going to draw part of the chain. Let's draw, we'll have GH. There's a pointer to it, pointer going back. The next one is IJ. Next one is KL. And finally, we had MN. MN is null terminated. And this is tail. So what steps do we need to do to delete MN? We got an hour and we only got three functions to do. You guys are going to help me on this, even if it takes you guys a while to think about what we need to do. So we should start with making it like a temp pointer, maybe pointing to the tail. I like that. We'll do get tail. We have a get tail function. Let's do this. Oh, maybe it does need to take something in. We need to know which chain is deleting, right? No, no, we don't. You're right. Look at you. Excellent. Now, yeah, there we go. Like it needs to know we're getting it somewhere. Wait a second. We're part of the linked list. You just thought faster than I did. That's excellent. All right. So now what we've just done is we've got, let's do this. Temp is pointed at MN. That's where we're at. All right, now what should we do? And I'll scroll up a little bit so we can see what we did before to delete a node. Not you. Any ideas? We need to delete what's in the node. So delete contents. We did that by doing delete temp. What will that do here? Okay, we'll write that down. So what we've done is we've deleted this shit. And now temp is pointed at null. You think this will work? Let's try going up here and doing delete node end. Well, wasn't end mn? This didn't work. I don't think it did. Did I miss something? Let's see. So new node mn is, let me comment this out, make sure that was it. Yeah, mn was our final node. And if I delete it, didn't do anything. I did what?
No, yeah, I was about to say.
Hold on, someone on Zoom speaking. Speak up. What?
No,
Loud and
I thought
proud.
you forgot to delete the temp. I forgot. I didn't see that you put delete temp.
Why is the volume not fucking coming through? Let's see. That's weird. I can barely hear you. One more time?
I thought that you didn't put delete temp. I thought all you did was put the temp equals null pointer. I was like, okay, that's probably why it's not working, but you did.
Yeah, we got delete temp there. So what's going on?
Is it pointing to the right thing?
That might be the problem. Because temp was a null pointer and then we deleted the null pointer. So we didn't actually delete anything. So we had it in the wrong order. Let's try that. Let's see if that works. Ugh. You fucked up memory allocation somewhere. And it's not telling me what line.
It worked for me. Oh no, wait.
Eli,
So
did you
for
say it worked
me,
for you?
yeah, for me, it's only showing the 007 and AB all the way through KL, and then it deleted the MN.
Do you have the same thing I have?
Yeah, exactly the same. Hmm.
It's giving
Like
me an
it's
error
showing it's
too.
doing it, but it's fucking breaking.
Yeah.
Like, well,
Mm.
I at least got to MN. What's the problem here? Look at the picture.
It's getting me an error as well.
What is KL's next pointer? Because that's how the print's going. It's starting at the beginning. It's going GH print, IJ print, KL print.
If we get rid of that, then it doesn't
Temp's
have anything.
pointed to null.
Mm-hmm.
We just deleted this. This actually hasn't been set to null. Well, we haven't
So the
like
tail
broken the
hasn't,
chain.
right.
Does that make sense? We've got like we fucking blew up the caboose and just left that motherfucker burning, and the train's going along, and you're like, go check on the people in the caboose, and like the person's like, fuck off, it's on fire. We ain't doing that shit. So we need to address that. So how do we address like KL? KL is causing is where our issues are at. Where is my fucking source? That's what I want. Shut that. Go to source. Any ideas?
Could
Not
we
you.
redirect where KL is going to?
Say that again.
Could we redirect where KL is pointing to after MN is gone?
So we got to redirect where KL's pointing to, right? How do we do
Yeah.
that?
Hmm. Good question.
Maybe let's for now, let's make another node. We'll call it other temp. No, that's not fucking any good. Temp two equals, we'll say get tail. And then we want get previous. Will that point us at KL?
Should. Because we're not doing the delete or the temp equals no pointer until afterwards. Hmm.
All right. So I've got temp two pointed to here now. And we want temp two's next pointer to set next. We want that to be the null pointer, right? That will kill this. That will break that. Is that enough? Let's take a look. That looked like it got the job done. There is an issue. There's an issue that isn't apparent because the code works as intended. There's just something that we haven't fucking fixed yet. If we add a tail to it, will it break? I don't know. Let's try that. Let's come up here and do, after we deleted one, we'll do add another one. Why are you not fucking autofilling? ZZ is not here. I wonder why that didn't work. Let's go look at add node end. Well, I know why it's not working, but let's see if you guys can figure out why it's not working. So add node end, we're trying to add ZZ to the end after we deleted something. The first thing we do is we get tail. This doesn't have a whole lot here. We've set temp equal to tail. And we say the next pointer on the tail is the new one. And we add the content to the new one, or we link up the new item and we set tail to the new item. We set tail to ZZ. But something in here is not working. What in here is not working with what we have on our screen? Because we deleted it. Like we did delete it. Let's go through it one at a time. So we're sending in ZZ. What is 124 going to grab on this screen? Where's the tail?
Well, it's gone. It's gone.
We fucked off the tail, didn't we? And we didn't fucking fix it. We need to go, like in our delete node, we should reassign where the tail is. So let's come back down to our, where is it? Right here. So let's see. We did this tier probably before deleting it. Let's do set tail to temp 2. That'll do this. And now we've got our ZZ in. That's what was missing. We didn't actually say, nope, this is the caboose now. Wouldn't have found that though if we didn't try to add another node, would we? Sometimes when you do it, I draw the picture and make sure what you have in the thing is pointing to somewhere valid. What we had, we showed tail pointing to this, and we just left it like that. But tail is part of our damn train. We need that. And if we just left it floating, it's fucked off. It doesn't help us. All right. All right. With that in mind, let's try a delete node middle.
Why don't we iterate the tail, like set tail to get tail dot their previous thing?
We did that by doing temp 2, getting previous.
Oh,
We didn't refactor. I think we could refactor this to get rid of temp 2,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
We have an extra node pointer. Why don't we try to refactor? Let's do that. Let's refactor. So rather than doing what we just did, temp 2, when we assigned temp 2, we said temp 2 is get tail, get previous. Do we need to do that? Can we bypass that all by just saying get tail, get previous,
I was thinking of set tail and then putting all of that inside there.
yes, realizing what I was doing wasn't what I wanted to do. Will that address this? It does this, it doesn't do tails next. But now that we have a tail here, we can say tail dot get next or set next is null. So if we get rid of temp two, let's make sure the process is going correctly here. So I'm gonna reconnect some shit. So temp and tail were both pointed to here. And the very first thing we do after we assign temp to tail, which was here, is we say set tail to get tails, get previous, which is that. So now tail's there. That's line 251. Line 252 says, let's fuck off our next pointer on tail. Temp is still here. And we delete temp and make it a null pointer. So that crosses it off and makes it null. So I think we're still doing everything we wanted, but with less lines of code. Before I delete it, I'm gonna run it and just make sure nothing's fucking changed.
That kind of,
What?
for you have for line 252. Okay. Then you like wouldn't be different because otherwise it'd be. You look like you were trying to.
I just wrote fucking tail. I'm like, yeah, that'll do it. Technically, it should have. Tail's part of it, but this is cleaner.
There's so much books on refactoring and writing and so. Yeah, I didn't know what this.
Something's not happening. Why don't I do set tail is equal to temp dot get previous. Will that work? This is that error checking I was talking about. Throw in some fucking test lines and see. All right, so it's doing test one, test two, test three. So it made it through all of that. What got fucked up? It's getting through all of them. So let's take a, oop. Temp 2 was get tail, get previous.
So we are set that, because like we are set that-
Say that again?
I said it anyway, like we're set that-
Like what about it? Because we had set tail was temp 2, but temp 2 was get tail, get previous. So this is just the equivalent of get tail, get previous. That is the equivalent of the temp 2, because that's what temp 2 equals. Just copy and paste that motherfucker right there. Is it when I'm setting the next pointer? Maybe do it up here. Get tail. Dot get previous. Dot set next. Oops. It doesn't like it. That's not how set works. Yeah, it is. Get tail, get previous. This is just like doing temp 2s. We need set next to null. That's doing line 249. And then we wouldn't need that one. Let's try that. Is that just changing the order help? Yep. Huh. I don't know what was wrong with the order, but they didn't like it. That's a little convoluted though, right? Like it's easier to do the temp 2, but then we have extra shit floating around.
I guess you have to change where it points to and then set it as tail. Because previously we were setting it as tail and then changing where it's pointing to.
I don't know why doing the other order didn't work. As long as it got done, but that's what it needed. I'll leave this green shit in for people who are watching. We refactored to get rid of the green. Get rid of the comments in here. Maybe I'll put that all after the comments.
Do you have an idea of why the latter works while the original doesn't? 'Cause it seems
Can't hear
kind
you.
of. Do you know why do you have like any idea of why the later one works while this one, like the earlier one, didn't?
I
'Cause
don't. I
it's
have
the
no
same
idea
thing.
why.
but just reversed.
Why is volume so fucking low?
Is it in the audio settings? That's the inside of it.
Myself. Audio settings are in here. It's right here. It's, oh wait. Ah, the fuck? All right, talk again, Eli.
Hello? Testing, 1, 2, 3.
There we go. Yeah, yeah, that fixed it. I don't know why it was low. I was using this shit on Saturday for D&D and everything was fucking fine. All right, so what was the last thing you said, Eli?
Oh, I was wondering why the latter works, but the original doesn't. Like as soon as you flip the order. I think that was the last thing I said.
I have no idea.
Hmm.
Like, why
Because
did
I
setting,
Go on.
why did disconnecting this before setting that to tail, why was that important? I have no idea.
Maybe it didn't want to be contaminated. I don't know. Like it didn't want to it wanted to like disconnect from it before you deleted it, I guess.
The other note.
Maybe it was just a little bitch, right? All right, let's try doing one of these with the. We want to go delete node middle. All right, let me come up here and add a prototype for it. Here we should. Do we need? We should take in something. I don't know that we want to take in the node pointer. Maybe we should take in the string and have it search for it. It was a string. Oh, wait. Whatever our set item was a string. So yeah. Because we'll use search value later on to find the node. So let's come down there and prototype this motherfucker down below. And I'm going to do it near our delete node end. And we gotta scope it. And we have a search for, how's the search for thing go? Search for value, that's the name of it. All right, come back down here. So we're gonna do search for value, arc. And we need to assign that to, we'll make that a temp node pointer. Okay, so let's say we're gonna kill IJ. Let's get rid of IJ. So what we've got so far is if I do delete node mid, what we've done is we've set temp equal to that. In the picture, without changing the code, what do we need to do? Let's start discussing what's going on here. What should it look like afterwards? That might be a better way to go. What should it look like afterwards? If IJ is not here, it should look like GH is pointing to KL. And KL's shit goes like that. GH is like that. And what?
Like, if we get on screen.
Oh. Well, what the hell are you guys talking about? I see it just fine. It's right in front of me. All right, so what has to happen between the picture on the top and the picture on the bottom?
The previous and the next nodes.
We got to redo some reconnections, right? So we need GH to go like that. Let's label that A. And we need that to point to that. We'll label that B. And if we do this successfully without changing where temp's pointing, can we do this successfully without changing where temp's pointing? If so, deleting temp would be C. Can we do that? So what is temp A, or what is A saying? A is saying we start at temp and we get the previous node. We want to set next, right? We're doing set next here. I need parentheses. I want to set next to temp dot get next. Oh, that's deep. Is that right? Let's put a little space in there to like think about this. Temp get previous points us here, right? And we're saying set, not set previous pointer, set next pointer. So we got previous, we're here. We're saying set next pointer, which is this arrow right here. We want to redirect it to temp's next pointer. Temp's next pointer is there. That looks like that has done this. Broken that link right there. That looks like that's okay. And now I don't have that arrow anymore, but do I need that arrow anymore? Here, if we try to do the same thing for the next one, temp dot, we want to go to KL. So if we do get next, this takes us to KL. And we want to set previous on the KL one to temps previous. Oh, I didn't fuck with my code there. I just have the spaces in, makes it a little easier to read, I think. This is like pointer gymnastics, right? We're fucking leaping all over the place. Well, so temp dot get next points us at KL. And now we're saying set previous, which is this line. We don't want it to be this line. We want it to point to there, which is temps get previous. So line 266 should be doing part B.
Is it fine to have multiple delete
Yeah. I could make 15 node pointers all saying point at like head node. It's just having extra pointers floating around. Now, I don't think it's necessary, but we could do temps dot. Now that we don't need temp anymore, set next to null. I'm gonna put it in there and set previous to null. And what that's doing is 267, 268 are doing this. They're erasing the final arrows. I don't think that's mandatory. But let's do it first with it. And then we need to do what we did before, delete temp. And temp equals null pointer. Let's go up top and try this with IJ. This is del node mid. Did anyone need the other code up longer? It works. All right, will it work if they, like after we've deleted node end, KL is the new, what happens if they do the last node? Will it work on the last node? KL would be the last node here. Because we deleted MN. Will it work there? Can I do del node middle on KL? So we're running into a problem here. Because in our code, if we try to go to, where is it? If we enter in the last one, when we say temp dot get next, that's a null. And when I'm doing here, we're doing temp get next, that's a null. And we're saying null pointer's previous pointer is this. So we might need to put some little if shits in here. If shits. Like if temp equals get tail. We should have some other shit going on. We should do del node end, right? We already got a code for that. Let's just use it. So this will help us bypass, if it happens to be the last one. Let's check to see if that fixed it. Because it didn't like deleting KL a second ago. We're good. KL's gone. All right. So this one deleted the middle, deleted the end. But if they're allowed to search for anything, they might search for the fucking head node. What is our head node real quick? 007 or is it AB? 007. So what happens if they search for 007? Can I do that and get away with it? I think we're going to have the same fucking problem because get previous is a null pointer if it's the head. I went too fucking far. And this should break also. For the same reason tail broke. Yeah. So we need to do something in here that addresses if it's the previous node or the head node. Where are we? Here's our del node end. Here's our del node mid. Okay. So if temp is tail, we do that. If temp is head, what do we do? So let's look on paper. And when we do the search, temp is pointed here. And that's that. That's where we're starting. If we do del node middle and it gets us this. We need to kind of do what we did when we did it with the end. Because this is also head. That is also head. Let's not forget that. So what did we do on del node end? Let's just like copy it and edit it for del node middle. I'm gonna copy this and put it in here and go, okay, if temp equals get head, maybe I should do that. Well, I'm not wanting to work with tail. I'm wanting to work with head, which is currently temp. So what do we need to do here? I don't need get previous, I need get next. I need to switch the order of these. Because what I want to do is we want to make this the head pointer right there. That needs to be our head. That's our end result. So what we're going to do is say temp, get next, set previous is null. Temp, next, previous is null. So that's a get and a set. So get next and set previous. So I'm kind of switching the order of what they were doing in the tail one. And rather than doing set tail, we need to do set head. Set head. Will be get head dot get next. I could probably even do set head as temp get next. Let's do that. So 271. 271 is saying break that. That's line 271. So it's giving me it's making it a previous is a null. That's line 271. And line 272 redirects this. Sorry, that looks funny. 272 changes head to point there. That's 272 right now. Temp's still here, head's where it needs to be. Head's previous is dead. Now all we need to do is delete temp. Which is what we have. Does that make sense? Am I doing this logically right? We kind of like basically flip the order of what we did on the end, the tail.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, I'm gonna run it. And it worked. It got rid of 007. Sweet. All right, so this, we actually named the other one del node end. Maybe we could just change this to a del node front and make this a whole nother file. That way, if they want to just delete the head node, like they know they're offing it and they don't need to know, give us a string name. I'm gonna copy that. Come up here and do a void our linked list del node front. Void. And just, oh wait. I need to prototype it up above. I think that's why it's being moody. Too far. Don't need to scope it, but I do need to close it. There we go. All right, down to where the red's at. And we can come in here and say del node front. So I just copied and pasted what was in our other thing. I did have to add a node pointer real quick to make temp. And then by doing that, we were able to edit del node middle to be, we have a get tail checker and a get head checker. I didn't need the temp equals no pointer there either. Looking good. Do we need this right here? I don't know. Let's comment it out. Don't delete it, just comment it out and run it and see if it causes any problems. It's not doing anything. Probably because we delete it right away and then we say temp equals null pointer and null pointer doesn't have a previous or a next. That makes sense. So those are unnecessary. Let's these were unnecessary. And now that this works anywhere, I'm just probably gonna call it del node. Right? Because now it works anywhere. Let's call it del node. Jesus, this is a long fucking code. Let's dot del node front. This should kill AB. Now that 007 is gone. I mean, I used del node front in the del node, but yep. Took out AB. What's our destructor look like now? Can we make our destructor look any better? Let's add node, that's search. It looks like it's deleting in order. It is. So we could probably condense this all down. I think we still need that last one. I guess it's only, wow, that's not really simplifying shit. To just do del node front. It's cherry. This saved one line of code. How's that for lame refactoring? Should work though. It was deleting from the front. Yep, still works now. I save one line of code, is one line shorter. Doesn't seem like a lot when there's 300 lines of code, but if you only had 20, one line shorter looks a little bit nice. Any questions? Did we have fun? A little bit. All right.
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up. Call it a day. Did that early. Well, don't forget, Juan's here for another 2 hours. If you want to talk with him about stuff. I will copy this and paste this in the announcements.
I'm gonna go ahead and do a little quick shout out for Juan. Juan, could you do would you mind if I did something on Discord?
I will.
Since I'm not in.
I'll tell him when he gets back in here. I don't
Okay.
know where the fuck he went. His computer's still here though.
All right.
I'll leave Zoom on. So.
Okay.
I forgot what I was doing. I was posting this in announcements.
So as long as you can kind of eyeball the code and kind of get a good idea of what's happening, you should be good when it comes to constructing the code, right? Like if I can eyeball like a linked or like a simple chain, like get tail, get previous pointer, and then set next pointer and then null pointer. If I can identify that we're looking at the next the next pointer and then putting null pointer for that and getting rid of it.
You should be in good shape.
Okay.
If you follow with what we were doing today, you're in good shape.
Okay.
Now there's shit like this is like shit you might see on an interview. Code up a linked list. Because what is it testing you on? It's testing you on pointers, it's testing you on memory allocation, it's testing you on all sorts of shit.
It's just, you know, if your logic works.
If your logic works, if you do have an interview, notice drawing a picture really fucking helps, and they're gonna like it that you're careful in what you did. Juan, Eli is asking if he can do shit with you over Discord.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fine.
All right,
He
cool,
said, go
cool.
fuck off, Eli.
I heard him.
Oh, okay.
He's not joking.
All right.
Yeah, Juan's, he's still
All
here.
right, take it. All right, I'll go and head on Discord.
Okay.
I'll be in study room 1.
He's in study room 1 if you're still on Zoom.
Or on Discord.
And you're not. He already left.